Disneyland slideshow. This is Kal Kat, the Kal Katster, and several voices of the Kal Katster. We're on the set for the Disneyland 70th anniversary episode thingy. It's the 10th anniversary of the Disneyland story, but it's the 70th of the park. This is the finalized slideshow. Kal Kat, Marx Cards met up. We did a recap last night. So you'll see that as well. This is the slideshow narrated by Kal Kat. This is a park on the first night, and decent pictures of Marx Cards. So here we have at it's the store thing. Between California Adventure and the other, there was sort of a big mall. The mall. That's what this is. Mall and a promenade and all that. Done it for Halloween, even though it's August, and went there for August. There's the hotel, which was done up like a medieval castle. So I'm going to comment on the pictures as they come, and also on what we're doing, because there's no ride footage. We didn't film ride footage, and I bought a jacket, a Disney jacket. And the next day, right on to the next day. That's Main Street, USA, at Disneyland. All the stuff that we didn't. We went to the Mr. Lincoln building, but there was something else in there. The Disneyland thing, that was later, day 3. But the footage here is that's the Bayou eating place, posing next to that. Marx Cards rode a scooter. If we go any later for the next time around, I'll need the scooter as well. Anyway, so we're at the not yet. Here's the castle, Disneyland 70th castle, and yes, there were 70th things all over the park, including the roses. I got pictures. They're right here, and it's like they were just over. We didn't notice. This is the end of one of the first rides we went to. Peter Pan or something like that. One of the rides. One of the rides we went on first. And then there's a queue line for the frog one, I think. And then on to the baguette place. No, that's actually earlier. That's the giant pumpkin cookie that was filled with cream. Go back to a shot at the castle, but that's fine. Okay, well, now we're making our way to it used to be Frontierland and all that, Fantasyland and all that. We're going to go to the Star Wars thing, which was under construction, which was going to be closed. They were closing down Frontierland when I left in 2015, and they finished it in 2017. So now we're going to go inside Star Wars land, and we have a little bit of footage of that, and it's interesting. And the aspect ratio is also interesting, but that's fine. It's a slideshow. It had to match the pictures, so the frame rate had to be IMAX. So we have the Rise of the Resistance ride and the Millennium Falcon ride. I don't know what they called the Millennium Falcon ride, but it was the other one, and you can go in there and see that. I like how it looks old world, like built up like an old city. And it isn't completely without mentioning the random stuff. Here's I'm saying that the Rise of Resistance is next level and awesome, which it was. There's quite a lot of video of this right here, but not on the ride. Couldn't film on the ride. It would have been a dark ride. It would have been like weird. So is it still? We have an hour. We have.
That's a little better.
More than enough. Yeah, that's better.
Oh yeah.
So we're here on the set of the Chimera movies, Starship Location movies, and Hard and Transformers, Transtech, and all that. Mm-hmm. Kal Kat and Marx Cards, going over the Disneyland thing that we went on. Mainly you, and I will also chime in. Yes, both of us.
Yeah, sure, okay.
No, well, let's just go.
So did with travel days. Let's see. We left last Thursday, came back this Monday. 3 full days in the park. Planned it out. Got ourselves a nice hotel room.
In that medieval-looking themed hotel.
Yep, Castle Inn.
Germanic Castle Inn thing.
Yep, I've been there before. It's quite nice. Yeah, and so we did 3 full days. The way the park hopper passes are set up anymore, you have to like register your pass online and then say which park you're going to start in. But after 11 on any given day, you can jump back and forth all you want. So we ended up doing that a few times. But yeah, you had never seen any of the
newer stuff.
The newer stuff. So Galaxy's Edge, all the Star Wars
stuff.
Yeah,
you go every other year or so.
I don't know about every other year, but I've been there more frequently than you have.
And you've been to Disney World in Hawaii.
I have been to Disney World.
And you've been to Disney Tokyo.
I've been to Disney Tokyo. I've been to the Aulani Resort in Hawaii. I've never done Disney Paris or the China one. I'd kind of like to one of these times, but obviously it takes a lot of planning and resources and money to do these things. So
Disneyland.
But yeah, so the big question is, after all the hype,
after 9.5 years.
Yep. So what do you think of Galaxy's Edge? Let's start there.
Ooh, let's start with Galaxy's. Yeah, it's a much improved, upgraded version of Star Tours. Immersive environments like you're in a Star Wars Land type game. I saw other reviews and walkthroughs of it before, but it's not like going there.
Mm-hmm.
And I get how some of the reviewers got into the park early like we did, and there was no one there because they got in there early before nobody was there yet.
We planned ahead.
We did that. But that doesn't mean that it didn't get packed later on after we left. but yeah.
I mean, it's
totally.
like any other land in the park. It depends on what day you're going and what time, but it was plenty busy.
When did it open for the park?
Every day that we were there, the parks
when did it?
Oh, I thought you meant
Star Tours. When was
I was going to say we got there. At
Star Wars thing.
And there was like nobody there. The land itself opened. I don't remember exactly.
They were tearing down the old one when I left in 2015 when we did our 2015.
It had to have been a little bit after that because
a couple of years, 6 years, a couple of years.
Yeah, they built all of it in what had been a big section of Frontierland. That's where the big barbecue, country barbecue. They had the petting goats, petting zoo. All of that stuff is now gone. That's all been sort of expanded, kind of like in a. If you see an overhead of it, like some of it's where Frontierland was, and some of it's kind of wrapped alongside where, Fantasyland kind of butts up against it. So they were very clever about how they had to design it, and it's so immersive. Like at any one spot that you're standing in any direction, it's just all Star Wars everywhere. There's nothing that really breaks the illusion. So that's really cool.
Millennium Falcon and parked in the side of the mountain.
Full size Millennium Falcon.
Yeah, it's probably the size of the Defiant from Deep Space Nine. There's an Easter egg in the Chimera movie of the Deep Space Nine. It's got a little Defiant and a little Millennium Falcon on the station parked there.
Yep.
So that was on purpose.
Yep. And that ride's cool because you actually get to fly the thing.
Well, you get to fly the. Yeah, you get to fly the ride, but you have like other people that are also pretending to fly.
Yeah, you're sort of
pseudo flying.
It's somewhat interactive. It's following a set thing. It's not like an open world sandbox where you can just go anywhere. But
yeah. Oh yes, other thing. So needless to say, raunchy Star Wars jokes in the park weren't noticed by anybody. Fortunately, it was not that. It doesn't. It looks like it's completely vacant, but this is literally the first thing we went on right after breakfast. And although the other slide showed later on, this is what we did right after, but like went right there. So from Fantasyland, so that's why there's no one there. There were plenty of people there the second time. I mean, we couldn't get in the second time. Right now, like there's almost no one there. But yeah, that some of the haters have gone there opening day, and there was no one there on opening day because then they started piling. They were on their way in when we were on their way out, and it got really crowded really fast. And yeah, but we did go on the thing. Yeah, they went in early and said, "Oh, there was nobody there." I was doing the line of sight thing there. That's great. So we have some other line of sight stuff. That's the inside the Falcon ride. Okay, yeah, this is in order. That's awesome. The Falcon ride. Yeah. And then another thing about the ride is awesome. Yeah, awesome. I was saying here on the set there, two middle-aged guys with walking around Star Wars land. Some of Mark's card slides follow mine, so it's kind of like it's a little out of sequence, but that's fine because our review was out of sequence as well, a little bit. But it wasn't like Quentin Tarantino. There's the impeller thing. The overall theme of that is just you're going on to this other section here with the Falcon, and it looks that's amazing. Yeah, and although it is the sequels because they want current people to go in the park, it is we're on the ship. We're on the ship there. On the ship, spaceship. Yeah, in front of the Falcon, which is roughly the size of the Defiant from Deep Space Nine. So there's an Easter egg if you watch the Starship Chimera, the Destiny device. In the Deep Space Nine scene, not only is the Defiant docked to Deep Space Nine and near it, there is a tiny Millennium Falcon docked there next to it. But yes, they're the same size. The Circassian freighter. Corellian freighter. I said that in the park. He said, "What's that?" He said, "The Millennium Falcon." I know the lore. We're not as steeped in the lore of Star Wars as the lore of Star Trek, but yeah, that is the awesome model that they've built. I'm surprised that they just took the prop from the movie and put it in there. That is an awesome model. The whole thing was pretty darn cool. There is no Jedi Academy in the park. It was changed over to something else. It never opened in the park. That was Disney World. We talked about on the discussion. We talked about the Star Cruiser Hotel. That's not where we were at. We were just talking about people that went on it. And that's in reference to the Death Sticks joke, which John didn't get and thought we were going to get in trouble. The Death Sticks joke, but no, nobody cared. There wasn't a soul out there, as you can see. No, Death Sticks. That's what I do. Yeah, it didn't work anyway, so it's fine. But it would have been funny if it ended with him just simply taking the fake death stick and going, excuse me, I'll use this for later. And that would have been hilarious. We were laughing our asses off. But no. So back to the Millennium Falcon ride, because these are out of sequence. And bad line of sight there. And the Resistance ride. Yeah, so there's a lot of pictures from in that part of the park. We took a ton of pictures in that part of the park. Star Wars thing. And yeah, I went over the Death Sticks joke. We didn't in the other review last night. So we have, it was dumb, but it would have been funny if you just went with it and didn't say anything. That would have been funnier. But yeah, we have so we have another shot of the ship. Corellian freighter. Originally, there's like it's supposed to be that's the loading area in the front. It's kind of an interesting design because usually a spaceship has like rocket stuff in the front, and the bridge is usually on the top of the front, but not the Falcon. The bridge is in the middle, and all of the stuff in the front is where they tow the cargo from, which is a weird design. Yeah. Anyway, now we're on to Frontier Land. Marx Cards shooting the stuff, the things, and there's the what's left of Frontierland. He got a lot of Disney pins, and then next we went onto the riverboat, and because they're going to tear down the Mark Twain attraction as well as the other Tom Sawyer Huckleberry Finn stuff. So they're going to do that. So we wanted to get many pictures of this as well. This is right after the Star Wars thing. We didn't go on to Columbia 9 years ago, so we went on to this time. And yeah, there was another joke on the other video, but I don't think it is relevant here. So anyway, so yeah, the Mark Twain referring to the famous Mark Twain, but also to the terminology on a riverboat. The Mark Twain means you can sail. Here we have a very cool vista shot there of the that's good. That's a good one too. From the boat. There is that line there, casting line, but then there's another good shot of it. There's a couple of good shots in there. You could use them as screensavers. That's no. Well, if you had them, yeah. Here's some video from that. That's nice. Oh, just a little bit. Some of the stuff was dated. They traveled past the Indian guide and all that, and the Indian ruins on the other one. The pirates, fake pirates that are on the island. And it's like the Tom Sawyer Island, Huckleberry Finn Island. The books were problematic because they were done in the 19th century and in the early 20th century, and they had certain characters that were named differently. That's the way people talked back then, even though it was messed up. And yeah, there's a character in there. You can look that up. I'm not going to say the word. Yes.
It certainly is not the Star Cruiser Hotel in Florida.
Never went, and we'll never have the chance to. But honestly, I wasn't all that excited to do it anyway because I'm not really a LARPer. I'm not. Not really.
You said you had LARPer friends that went and enjoyed it.
I have.
I had LARPer friends that went and didn't enjoy it. So.
It was very subjective. For my money, the problem is if you're doing a Disney trip, you don't want to just sequester yourself away from everything else and just lock yourself into a multi-day cosplay of I'm just pretending to be in a Star Wars adventure.
Even though you weren't allowed to dress up in that. Right?
Yeah, you had to still be a tourist, and I guess they had a storyline, but that's the thing. It only works if you're being interactive with it. If you're being...
If it doesn't work.
If you're being distant from it and just sort of observing it, you're not going to have much fun. But I don't particularly enjoy the whole, a cast member runs up, you need to take the secret, Kyber instructions and take them to the, long live the resistance. And I'm not going to be like, yay, yes, that. You just said,
they kind of do
may
that.
The force be with you, yay.
They kind of do that on this interactive ride with the interactive.
They do, but they leave it sort of it's not required. It's not like you have to.
You're not paying $6,000 to play.
Yeah, and it's not that I'm opposed to this. I just get way too self-conscious. I just feel so awkward doing it.
I just love the idea of messing with the whole thing up.
Well, yeah, if you were really into it, you could probably sabotage it in some way.
But yes,
we never went, and it only lasted like a year or so, a couple of years before it just kind of tanked anyway. So it's probably because of the price tag on it as much as anything.
But this thing.
This thing isn't anything like
that's way better than that. It is way better than that.
I mean, I don't know. I never went, but it's really cool. It's very immersive. The sort of they call it their Imagineering. You see it on full display in any of their classic lands. Tomorrowland was always meant to feel like you're going into the future. Fantasyland's supposed to feel like you're in a fairy tale storybook, but the degree of immersiveness that they build into it anymore is extraordinary.
You go into different areas where it looks like you're on a Star Destroyer and you're in the launch bay. It looks like you're in the shuttle bay. It looks like you're going to be interrogated. They should have put like a scream in there to freak everybody out.
But I could just imagine how many little kids would start crying and they'd have to stop the ride and yank
do the Haunted Mansion though.
Yeah, but you know what you're getting into. If you know your kid's a fraidy cat, you're not going to bring them like a 2-year-old who's scared of ghosts onto the Haunted Mansion.
You wouldn't do that anyway. I hope you wouldn't do that anyway.
I would hope. Well, I mean, I remember riding the Haunted Mansion when I was really little, and I loved it. I thought it was great. Little kids, people don't give kids enough credit. They can handle and they actually enjoy a little bit of spooky time, ghosts and goblin stuff. Kids are not as fragile as people tend to think they are, but by the same token, you don't want to traumatize them like guy with a chainsaw runs out in the middle of the Haunted Mansion with fake gore flying everywhere. That would be for us.
Right.
We would get a kick out of that.
Yeah. A couple of middle-aged guys go to the park without any kids and no grandkids and whatever.
Fortunately, there's nothing in the parks that makes you feel awkward for doing that.
Let's see if they were all in the same boat there.
Nobody looks at you and goes, "What are you doing here?" Like if you went to Smurf Village or something, people would be like, "This is for little kids. What the hell?"
It's not like at the time at that DKS panel that the Karen lady that turned around and said, "What are you doing in here?"
Oh, well, she just had a bee in her bonnet about something or other.
I didn't know her.
No.
The KS.
But in any case, anyway, to get back to it, so the big flagship ride is Rise of the Resistance. That's the first thing we did. Very immersive, eye candy up the wazoo. What was your take on that?
So Rise of Resistance, very cool. The technology they were using as the floaty car thing, they also used on Runaway Train, but in a different way, with moving walls and things like that. A little different.
Yeah.
The Rise of Resistance was more hardcore metal looking, more next level.
Yeah. It's...
I had seen and been on an early version of that technology, like 15 years ago at the Star Trek, the Star Wars. Not the Star Trek one. The Star Wars tour. They also have a Star Trek one. The Star Wars tour where they said, "Do you want to ride on the hovercraft thing that's going to be part of rides and things in the future?" And it was a hovercraft, and I got to ride on the hovercraft thing. I got to and then of course they quieted it down and made the motors better. And
sure.
So that it wouldn't just be blasting the noise everywhere.
Yeah.
And then they fixed it, and now it's a ride, and so you go in there and. So the technology was already there in production before we went to the first Disneyland trip, but they hadn't built it for the...
Yeah, it wasn't in full use at that time. It was all still prototypes. But it's instead of just being on rails or following ruts in the floor, the technology is that the car that you're in is almost kind of remote controlled on a preset pattern. So it's not actually on a track. The floor itself is wide open. And depending on how you program that thing, it can go anywhere.
Actually, there were tiny, metallic...
The floor is metal, but my point is it's not... Your car isn't on, train ruts. It's not following a roller coaster track. It's...
Sure? There's a little bit of a track there? So I saw a little bit of track.
The floor has metal plates and stuff in it, but it's not on. There's no train track that it's following.
Well, it's a maglev, but it's on the track.
When you see it, you can tell on. You
can tell where it's going.
Yeah, it can't go anywhere, but it's not old school. So on Runaway Train. There's a part where you're supposed to be dancing, and the car can suddenly start going sideways and forward, and there's a lot of motor controls and servos and things inside the car, so it's simulating that you're actually moving around. You're not just sitting passively in a roller coaster car. It's pretty cool stuff.
I noticed that they both did have. You could kind of see the floor. It wasn't completely random.
I'm not saying it's random. I'm saying it's following a preset program. But it's on a big wide open floor. You can program it to go to different parts of the room. It's not just locked into a track.
The cars. The cars couldn't physically go off of the preset form either. They couldn't.
I'm not saying they could.
So there wasn't a physical you could. Well, I could see the pattern on the floor.
There's a pattern on the floor because it goes over it hundreds of times a day. But it's all I was saying is there's no train tracks on the floor like an old school roller coaster.
It's magnetic, yeah.
Yeah, that's all I was saying.
Guess we were kind of saying the same thing, but indirectly. So what is the next thing then?
This is Kal Kat, the Kal Katster. It is Monday, September 8th. Yeah, there was a 4-day Disneyland episode. So, well, not an episode. We didn't really film it. There are clips, but there are clips. The Kal Kat and Marx Cards were on hand at the place where we were allegedly shills. Disneyland. And yeah, so and yeah, for their 3 days of our awesomeness were there, mostly buying their stuff. Yes, yeah. On Thursday we will do a recap review, but I thought I would chime in on early on. Well, there's a slideshow that's going to be an hour long, so I can chime in on there too. But yeah, so we went to both parks, Disneyland and California Adventure. Yeah, and went to, of course, we went first to the Galaxy's Edge, so all of that stuff, all the Galaxy's Edge stuff, because it was quite early on the first day. Well, we got there at the shopping mall. It's between the things first, and it found swag or clothing and things like that already. So there was that. Then we went to that was at night, and the hotel was the one that looks like the kind of a medieval castle with a knight in it in the lobby and stuff. And then on from there to the so the next day, because you don't want to hear about the store things about in the store. It's like, kind of showed you that already. On from there to the Star Wars land. This is going to be brief, so I'll just talk about it. I'll chat on the slideshow about stuff. But here we have a sort of recap. Yeah, so back to Disneyland, discussing the movies and films that have come out recently, the Marvel movies and films that come out recently. As Marx Cards was not familiar with literally the last 7 or 8 Marvel movies. No idea what's going on. But neither did the park, as I found out in California Adventure on day 2. So there's not much new Star Wars either. I mean, if you count some of the movies that are on I don't really have the channel anymore, and the other stuff for that watching of the Star Wars. But we went to the Galaxy's Edge anyway, and I want to see that because it's cool. It's an interactive world, next level, Rise of the Resistance ride, walk through and ride. It seemed very much like the Star Trek one, except next level, and the Star Wars one next level. The interactive cosplay thing, but the crew doing their thing, and the First Order captures you, takes you onto a ship and all that. Way cooler than the Star Cruiser Hotel. About that I heard stuff about. There were, let's see, just to recap, real brief, some of the stuff after the Rise of Resistance and all that. We went on all the Louisiana area, the Princess and Frog stuff, but we didn't go on the Tiara ride until day 2 or day 3. It was day 3 that we went on that. And we went on all the other ones. So yeah, I had so we went to the Tom Sawyer's Island thing and did all that. Didn't go to the island in a long time. I don't think we went to the island 10 years ago. Went to the island this time. We went on the boats, but not the island. We'd never been on the other ship either, the Columbia ship that goes in the thing either. There were jokes about that and such. We were also in brief contact with Brian Story over the phone. The cell could chat. Oh, he was looking for something. Didn't say what, but yeah. Got him a shirt anyway. California Adventure.
So after that, we did a bunch of the rest of the park, a lot of the classic stuff. We did, most of the classics. We didn't do everything. Neither of us wanted to do Matterhorn because, as much as I love that old ride and it's very iconic, it's also a very old coaster, and I know they've retrograded or retrofitted it a bunch of times. It's still bone jarring. Like that ride knocks you around and leaves you bruised. At least if you're old fuddy-duddies like us. Maybe little kids can just handle the abuse better, but like the last time I rode the Matterhorn, I walked off of it going, oh my God, that hurt.
Oh, last time I rode it 15 years ago, I didn't like that.
Yeah, it hasn't gotten any better with age. So there's certain stuff that's like, it's nice to see it, but just sort of opted not to do it. Certain other rides, because of you've got some vision issues, so 3D stuff wasn't going to work too good. We ended up on the upgraded Star Tours because honestly I forgot that is 3D, so it didn't do you any good much. So yeah, I wouldn't have bothered if I would have remembered that you need 3D glasses on that thing. It is neat, but yeah, if you can't see it, what's the point?
The only thing I saw on that one was, well, I could kind of see some blurry things going around, but the only thing I could see was the C-3PO in the front. But that's because it was a robot.
Yeah,
it wasn't in the movie. It was a robot right there. Mm-hmm. Well, but yeah. So so day one also had. Let's see.
Yeah.
After the Star Tours thing. I don't think we went to the Toontown until day 2.
No, we tried to go on day 2, and it was already closing down.
Day 1, yeah.
They have to shut that park down early because of the fireworks show. For safety, they have to, nobody can be on that side of the park when the fireworks are going off.
Tom Sawyer thing. I wasn't as big a fan of Tom Sawyer stuff as Marx Cards apparently was. It was fine though. The cave was very dark. Found that all the places that were very dark were very, very dark and hard to look around in. Yes. Yeah, so, I don't know. When did we go on the Indiana Jones ride? I think that was day 2. The Star Tours was also day 2. Yeah, I was trying to think of what the other rides were in between there. Yeah. So after the Tom Sawyer one and the other one, we didn't go to the Star Tours was not working or closed or something on day 1, but yeah, there. There was other rides. I don't know. Didn't go on that. What happened on the other? There was like a Jungle Cruise thing. I think that was day 1. I think. Then there was corny jokes. There was a lady telling really, really bad dad jokes. And yeah, so on from there to other things. There was a brief shot of Marx Cards, the shooting gallery. That was earlier. That was what's left of the Wild West part of it. There's a eatery place. I don't know if any of the slides, etc., out of order. I don't think it matters really.
So it was day 3 that we did Toontown.
Day 3.
Yeah.
I thought it was the middle of day 2. We went over to the.
Day 2 we.
And had lunch in Toontown, and then went to the.
Well, in my recollection, day 2 we started off in California.
We did.
And we did a bunch of stuff there that we could, and then kind of ran out of stuff to do. The Cars ride was broken down, so we bailed on California Park.
So where did we have lunch?
That was the day we went to the French Quarter and got the beignet, Monte Cristo.
That wasn't day 1.
No, that was. Was that day 1? Now you got me second guessing.
Because on day 1, after the Star Wars stuff, which we did first, I thought then we went and we did Tom Sawyer's Island. But before we wandered around Tom Sawyer's Island for a while. Went on Mark Twain's ship, and then you went.
He's been in there, but I haven't been. But yeah, the whole idea of the back to the riverboat. Yeah, these are a little out of sequence. yeah. I don't know why the two Bayou things were in there. I guess it looked like it was. Yeah. So now we're other footage. This looks like Marx Cards footage from. There's the highfalutin, the stacks. When you're highfalutin, you're up at the top. So we were on the top. Being highfalutin, which also means rich, and we ain't really rich. Then we're going on a river raft over onto the island. Bang 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 bang. Yeah, and then we're gonna go over there and get some bang bang bang. Yeah. And there was none of that on the island. But there were lots of hints that Tom Sawyer and Huckleberry Finn had a lot of fun on the island. Yeah. There's the Cave of Wonders, the Dead Man's Grotto, where the chest is. Pirates and stuff. I think the pirates, like, I get the idea of Tom Sawyer and Huckleberry Finn and that kind of thing, but it's like, and Swiss Family Robinson a little bit in there too. But they did tear down the Swiss Family Robinson treehouse, that's gone. As well as the Swiss Family Robinson treehouse is there. They tore down the Chip and Dale one. That's what it was. Here's the Columbia. During the other joke scene. We won't cover that, but here it is. And it's funny, is the Columbia and the Mississippi are nowhere near each other, thousands of miles apart. But they sort of combine them in the story. The Columbia is a redress of an ancient or colonial American sailing ship. Just a three-masted one. Which makes it, it's not a schooner. It's a three-masted light cruiser, I guess, basically. Called it something else, but yeah, it was a light cruiser. Anyway, so here we're back on the island thing. So yeah, the Louisiana footage from earlier with Room 33 was actually after this. So it's a little confusing when you watch the slideshow. You think it happened before, it happened after. And there's the treasure chest. You would think that the pirates wouldn't call it Dead Man's Grotto so that you would know there's treasure there. You're kind of dumb. And the treasure was, of course, painted to look like the treasure. And it's just painted rocks that have been, stuff that have been made up to look like gold and pirate booty. Nar! But we both be the pirate booty, I think. Nar! Arr! The pirate booty. We are the pirate's booty. Yeah, in order to make the slideshow fit, a lot of these pictures are not 3x5. They're almost all, I think they're 6x9, but the monitors are 16x9. So they're 6x9 photos. Just to all fit them on the page, which is fine. So they're IMAX, basically. but yes. So yeah, high def 4K IMAX. And here we have, it looks like he's puking over the side there. Wasn't. And there's the pirate wreck. Nar. We got a lot of good pictures of Marx Cards there. Nar. They take a decent picture of people. Yeah, there weren't a whole lot of people on the island. It almost, yeah. So, people could go there and make out if they wanted to. Probably wouldn't say anything. But we weren't, though. Oh my. Of course, they could do that in their hotel room. But, there's a shot of the riverboat from the top of the weird thing going by. A lot of cool, there's the crazy bridge. Yeah. Crazy footbridge and the other bridge. Yeah, I went over the crazy rickety bridge, but not the tall one, the one that's on the ground. Yeah. The Swiss Family Robinson The Huck Finn treehouse is still there, and I meant the other one. We walked right up to it there. So yeah, we have the bridges. Is that the other bridge? What is that? Yeah, I'm just commenting on the pictures because why not? Oh my. She's rather stacked. Oh my. Probably trying to figure out where her kid is. Hiding in the bushes. But here we're back on the Columbia. And the cannon didn't work. So there was like audio tracks going, oh, that stopped the pirates, and the cannon went. Brian's story was online during this. So he texted, I got to fire the cannon. They let him. Apparently he was back in the day when they let them do that, pretend to fire the cannon. Probably what it is the cannon was on a timer, and they just said, okay, fire the cannon, and he pretended to, because they wouldn't. Somebody randomly fire the cannon. Well, maybe they did. And now down below decks we have lots of things in there, like the captain's mate. I bet he is the captain's mate. Arr. Over there. Bilge pump. Sorry, not working. Nar. Back to the island. So this is Marx Cards footage from the island again. The other bridge. And the skull. His stuff seems to be more visual eye candy that's there. There's a duck. A very happy male duck. With a chipped bill. I don't know how he got that close to that duck. It's kind of amazing. Here's the rickety bridge, which I mentioned earlier. And I looked freaked out. And it kind of was. Well, it would have just gotten wet. It wasn't that deep. But yeah. Nar. And back to the pirate chest going, pirate's booty. Nar. So yeah, there's it's out of sequence, but it doesn't matter. Back to the other thing. Because this is Marx Cards footage, with mostly me in it. Because it's all about me. And there's me on the ship again on the Columbia. And there's the ghost behind the Columbia. And speaking of the ghosts in the window, that was mentioned too. The Ted Danson standee, not the Ted Danson kid story from the Two Men and a Baby. I always thought it was just his kid in the background. He wasn't supposed to be on the set. But that's another movie that he did where that happened. But yes, then it looks like we're in a Louisiana town. I don't know if there's more Tom Sawyer after that, in which case it's the camera roll. Going back to the Bayou town. There's the 33 room. Ooh. We did not go into the 33 room. We just posed next to it to make it look like last time we went to the 33 room. Not this time. No, I'm not famous anymore. Anyway, so it's literally what that picture was. Nar! And then we're over to, it looks like, we're still on the island? No, we're over at the bazaar at this point. And that links up with the other one, and we went to the other Fantasyland stuff, made our way around the other side to the first time we did, apparently according to this, day one, we did go to the Futureland area, but we did not go on Star Tours because it was closed that day. So we went on we went on the Buzz Lightyear thing on day one over there, and when I went on probably Autopia the day. No, did we do Autopia the day one? Maybe we did. Went by the Fantastic Four store. And the little they did a sketch. There was a Fantastic Four sketch, but we didn't see it all. So yeah, it's just kind of there is the rocket rods, but it's also the People Mover. And here we come to the evening at the other. Where is that? Yeah, we went back there to see if we could get back in and go on something. Appears that we're at the Tomorrowland and then outside. Oh, for the we were trying to get around to the other side for the parade on day one. Looks like we got to go to the day one parade. Looks like so this is gonna be footage of that. But we were walking around the park and stuff and going to the things at night. Did we go to Small World that night? I think we did. We were at the mall. That mall in between. That's where that is. That's kind of out of sequence because maybe we. Oh, the secret corridor. So this is actually footage from earlier. A brief shot of the corridor. To get to the parade, to get out of the parade afterward. To get to the parade, I should say. So there was a secret corridor footage. Yeah. Get to the parade from the other side. So they escorted us to the parade through the secret entrance on the other side of the castle. Yeah. We won't say exactly which side of the castle it was the secret entrance. And then back to the parade. That was so brief, though. That's like, wow, okay. And then back again to day. It's still day one, but it keeps switching back to whatever I took a picture of. Yeah, that's what's going on. And here we have the parade. Yeah, the it wasn't called Festival of Light. What was it called? World of Color was the other one. So the parade was day one, night of day one, the parade, and there's some of the parade footage, and that was night of day one, as it turns out on the slideshow. This is the first day that we're covering. This is let's see, where are we here? 22 minutes in, covering day one. So yeah, and the parade, and you can barely see it. Paint the Night. Okay, Paint the Night's what it was called. Disney Paint the Night Electrical Parade. Apparently the one in Japan, they still do the electrical parade. And they also still do the 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea and ride. And some of the other ones are the same too. Splash Mountain is still Splash Mountain from the movie as well. I'm getting a spam call. Yay. I'm not going to answer it. Yeah, so yeah, here's a parade, and there are the cell phone-like doors from the. They do look like cell phones. I'm sure when they designed cell phones, they were thinking of the doors from the Disney movie. But Pixar movie. So there's a guy wearing a hat that says San Antonio, Texas, even Texas. And even though fucked up pictures, I'm just going to leave it in. Because here's the truck ride, and you can actually see the lights inside it. Unfortunately, my shot of it there shows that the lights weren't really doing anything, which is funny. It still wasn't doing anything. Yeah, the lights should have been making a caricature. They kind of aren't. They're just bright. And I took a 4D picture of that. Holy crap. Okay, and we are still rolling. Yeah. And yeah, this is When Can We Do This Again? That song. Da-do-do-do. When can we see you again? Ba-da-bo-bo. Bum-bum-ba-da-bum. It's a bump and grind. Tonight's the night. And you know, I'll never hit the heights. And we do it again. Yeah, I can just sing the song. It's not at all subtle. There's the dog looking evilly. He's looming over the crowd. He's going to destroy them. They watch the pretty float. Then they kill all of the crew. The parade. Watch the parade. We are not completely hammerified. So actually, day one is about half of the slideshow. Mainly because of the Tom Sawyer stuff, which was going to be closed. So we took lots of pictures. A whole lot of pictures, like 3 rolls of what they would call rolls back then, but they were digital pictures. A lot of pictures from the parade as well. Ooh, that's pretty. Oh, yeah. Yeah, it doesn't matter if some of the pictures went. That's kind of funny. You watch those. Count the bloopers. I'm not cutting them out. So here we are with the. I'm not going to do it. The Beauty and the Beast one. Yeah. Yeah. There was a joke in there saying the Stockholm Syndrome float. It's kind of funny. I remember that. You must love the Beast. Ah. Actually, the original nursery rhymes that most of the Disney rhymes are based on. Almost all of the stuff in Disneyland is based on something else that they co-opted. So it's not like it's not like Snow White and Cinderella and the Frog Prince and all that stuff isn't really, and Beauty and the Beast and all that is completely Disney. It's a Disney version of other stuff. In fact, the original premise of the Frog Prince, it was just an insult to the French guy that comes up to her and tries to befriend her. Just an insult. That's what it was. It wasn't really a frog. Well, it was in the nursery rhyme, but that's what he meant. Yeah. But yeah, here we have the Walt Disney wasn't going. That's the Frozen Castle. Really cool effect. Yeah. They didn't have a crystal castle this time. I think they would have. I think they would have had. Well, here's the prop, but you think they would have had that in that crystal shop? They would have had the crystal castle. Instead, they had something else slightly different than that lead crystal castle. But here is the prop of the crystal, the snow. Ilsa one. And here we have the Snow Queen, better known as Frozen, and then you have Tangled, better known as Rapunzel. There's other stuff. So here we have the. This is actually a reference to that movie Wish, which nobody liked. There's also a reference to that in World of Color. There's one brief snippet of song in there, and it's kind of funny. They were also ripping off Kirby a little bit. Star thing, very from Kirby. It's kind of funny that they're doing anything from that movie that no one wanted to go and see it. The one Disney movie I did not review last year. Well, that's not entirely so. I didn't review The Lion King Mufasa or the live-action Lion King from the year before because they were like, why are they doing these? I didn't see the Lilo and Stitch live-action movie, but I actually heard that it was okay. It's fun. Yeah, here's a lot of float footage here. Some of it earlier, some of it before. Looks like a Dalek. It's not Donald Duck. On a Dalek. Yeah. It's not a Dalek. It's Minnie Mouse. It's references to, and then back to the Star Fury things. Well, some of it's Kal Kat, some of it's Marx Cards, so it's kind of stuck together. I didn't. Well, they're just. It's at the matter of time. There's a Bobby grind. And yeah, there's a lot of footage of that parade. It looks like I left it all in. Yeah, the Star Wars thing was next level. Yeah. Death Stick. And then there's Snail from something. I guess it's the Magic Mickey on the end of it. And it looks phallic. I think it's supposed to be from Fantasia, I guess. Then it lights up, so it looks less like it's. It lights up. Intellectual stoned. We were not stoned. However, some creative people in the park, some of the ride characters, did look like their eyes were bloodshot. They were a little wasted. They weren't, but they looked it. So. Okay. Looks like next morning in Cars Land, and the Cars stuff. The Cars ride was down. We didn't go on the Avengers coaster, so we're in Cars Land, and next to it, and there wasn't anybody out there yet because it was early again. I went right to the Cars Land, and there's the Techron car, better known as Lightning McQueen. Techron car, played by a depressed actor. Yeah. But yeah, there we are in front of the Lightning McQueen car. And the ride was not open. It was closed. Posing next to a ride we didn't go on. It's funny. But yeah, there were a lot of pictures of that. And then there was the motel thing, cozy cone thing. They did up the traffic cones to look like Halloween. I'm told that they go through the park and they fix up everything for the next show in a night. And I don't know if I can completely buy that it would take them only a night. I think it'd probably take them more than a night to redress everything. Yeah, because it does. And San Francisco looked more like San Francisco from Big Hero 6. They moved out all the Bugs Life stuff and put Big Hero 6 in there, even though that movie really wasn't that popular, was it? I guess it was popular enough. It was fine. There's the coaster. He wanted to go on it. Let's see. So we have one of the drop tower spinny things. Oh, that's the Inside Out, the emotion thing. That was there. That they built that. That wasn't there last time. A lot of this stuff was there the last time he went, which was about 8 months ago. So so he went. So 8 to 5 months ago. The carousel thing, that actually is later on. Huh. Wait till all the Fantasyland stuff. Because the second half we went to the other part. Yeah, there's another carousel over there. I guess it's a different one. So I just say, okay, California Adventure. We went on the Rapids ride the first day. That footage is actually, it's like here. The bear footage. We didn't get footage of us going on the ride, so we walked back to it and got footage briefly of a few seconds of the entrance, even though we didn't get footage on the ride. So that's weird. It's like, it switches back. And, yeah, it's kind of a mess. So we have, we're still in the California Adventure, looks like, and then Cars Land and stuff. And Cars Land again. Back to the Cars Land stuff. Yeah, there's like, it kind of jumps around a little bit. I don't know if he got footage of the other one, but yeah, back to the Cars Land, and some similar pictures. They could have been grafted together. They weren't. That's fine. Nah. I'm basically playing the sad one. I'm posing next to sadness. It's kind of funny. Because if anything, Kal Kat is the opposite of that, so that'd be funny. Let's see. So we have. He's more like Cowgirl Jesse. Yes, and next to this fancy schmancy car, yeah, and then some characters, the band. Oh, Toontown. Two is Toontown? No, yeah. No, it might still be the California part. Is it Fantasyland again? Buena Vista. No, I think it's still in Fantasyland. It's still in California Land. And then there's also the Jungle Cruise thing, which is later. Is that coming up? Maybe? I don't know. No, they're still in California Adventure. Yeah, they're still over there by the Bear Country thing, and it's still another shot of the water ride, even though right after the cars when we went on the water ride. And this is the water ride. Yeah, that isn't filmed. That's what's going on. I just figured that out. And then they go back again to the completely completely ignoring the California Hollywood Street thing. Then the other stuff. Now go back to the Hollywood Street. And yeah, there was the paparazzi ride. Because apparently of that year that it was out there, we did go on that, and he went on, the Jaegers went on that separately. And yeah, we've been on that because I was reminded of that later. And they said, oh, Dan said, oh yeah, we went on that when it was the paparazzi ride. And then later on when it was Monsters Inc. in 2009. Yeah, it was, they renamed it. So yeah, we went on it twice. The other version. It was terrible. But yeah, the Monsters Inc. one was okay. But here we are at the Avengers stuff. We didn't point out in the other review thing that that's where we had dinner, the Pim place. But like the we walked by it and I took a picture of it. Yeah, because it's obviously not evening yet there. So it's morning. But then we have the Avengers gag, some gags. in front of the thing. Sort of their space. He was trying to figure out what it was doing, but that's clearly the Iron Man landing. Yeah, it's Iron Man landing. Actually, that close-up one is not Iron Man landing. That's Black Widow. Black Widow. The second time was Black Widow. Yeah, and then it's night at the California Adventure. So there isn't much footage on this roll or this reel of the Fantasyland and other stuff that was done back to Disneyland and then back to California Adventure again on day 2 here. On day 2, this is the evening of day 2 after the PIM thing. So that probably was evening then. So yeah, we're not evening again. At the purple light show thingy with the happy horse, referencing the happy horse of the Headless Horseman guy, and it's like so there's some pictures that aren't there because we didn't take them. So yeah, we're in the evening with him, the dinner thing. Paid for the dinner. John paid for the dinner. Marx Cards. And then on to the Happy Horse. The Happy Horse is a reference to a Red Letter Media gag reel thing called Noiseland, which did a spoof of an old Italian video movie where this guy is shooting at a horse that obviously isn't there on screen, in this, they're making fun of it, and this Noiseland thing made a video spoofing that by having them ride the horse in the video. And here's the horse. That's the explanation for the happy. Well, it's a Headless Horseman thing. It looks cool. How could he see where he was going? And Marx Cards had mentioned that a Scooby-Doo episode, which I also remember, had the Headless Horseman in it, and it scared him when he was a kid. And here we have a toy store and the other stuff. Yeah, so there's not much of the Avengers gift shops because they weren't good. Next morning, there's a lot of poo. This is day 3. Some other. Let's go on to day 2. Day 2 is California Adventure. A lot of the funky sort of Avengers stuff. They tore out all the Bugs Life stuff, put in Avengers stuff everywhere. And Spider-Man ride and 3D ride, the drop tower. Pretty much all of the stuff that like really jars you, I didn't want to go on, which was funny. So no drop tower, no Guardians Tower, and no Guardians coaster either. Didn't go on that. Didn't go on the coaster. Went on the smaller ones, but not that one. The mine train ride was broken in the main park. The boats were cool. The other stuff was cool. The PIM restaurant was kind of cool. Like the fake machine make it look like these little pretzels get enlarged and then shrunk or enlarged. They go in small and come up big. The PIM is a reference to a Marvel character of the Ant-Man series thing. It wasn't there. Surprised they didn't do a Honey, I Shrunk the Audience thing with Ant-Man. But apparently the last movie wasn't so good, so they didn't. The theater for the Frozen theater is gone. Closed it down. Or just was for renovation, so that never reopened after the pandemic. Before that, it was an Aladdin theater. We didn't go on Monsters Inc. until day 3, because you really didn't want to. But I didn't want to go on the Enchanted Tiki Lounge. I could have. I said we could go back, but we didn't. And then we went on the Columbia. I'll cut that out. And then we went on the Starship Columbia, or the sailing ship Columbia, and then we had lunch in the Louisiana Bayou area.
Okay.
I think that's when we had the lunch stuff. And you went into the shooting gallery and shot the shooting gallery thing.
I think I did that first, but
yeah.
So then, what did we have for lunch on the third day?
On the third day, on the second day, we had dinner at the
Pim particle place.
Yeah,
But the third day we had lunch at. Wasn't it like? Well, we had the wet burritos for dinner.
yeah.
So what did we do for lunch? Was it?
I know we did burgers in Tomorrowland. Was one of
That
our
was
dinners.
lunch. That was the third day.
Was
Yes,
that-
burgers and tomorrow. That's right. Yeah, that's right. Third day, we went to Tomorrowland for lunch.
Is that
We
lunch?
went on we went to Tomorrowland twice. Once we went to Tomorrowland and went on the blaster ride thingy. That was the second day, and then because we went over there to do that, and then they said that Space Mountain was closed.
Yeah.
So we were like, oh, we can't go on that Tuesday. Maybe it'll be open tomorrow, or today. Maybe it'll be open tomorrow. And it was open the next day. So we were gonna go on Space Mountain, but there was a long queue line. So we went on Autopia at first, and then went on. At least that's what I remember. And then we went on Space Mountain after lunch.
Okay.
Yeah, those burgers and then Space Mountain.
I'll trust your recollection.
And the burger guy was had a sort of a high pitched voice, and he was taking an order, and yeah. So.
And yeah. And day again. I believe they're starting into day 3 here. Yeah, day 3 at the Disneyland park. Day 2 was mainly California Adventure. Day 3 was everything we didn't go on. We're going to go on it. So, yeah, It's a Small World was day 2, and possibly, or was it day 3? And did we get any pictures on it? No, did we go on that day 3? I got that day 3. I have day 3. Yeah, I think we waited until later to do all of the Fantasyland stuff. Toontown would have been day 3 as well. Yeah, I went towards what is Toontown? There's some more poo. Oh, and then furries. Furry inside furries, wearing pelts of furries. This was the other. Yeah, that was. This is actually from the Tiana's Wild Ride thing. That was the Tiana's Wild Ride, the first. That's what that was from. It was over in the Bayou country thing, which used to be partly the Frontierland and the other thing. It's kind of still there, but it's the reskinned other one. With the Haunted Mansion. We went on Pirates of the Caribbean, but didn't get any footage. That was day 2. We went on that. Day 2, I think. Yeah, we didn't get footage. A lot of footage from the Haunted Mansion, though, apparently. But yeah, no footage on the Pirates. We did definitely go on the Haunted Mansion. And yeah, there was tweaking cartoon characters. But yeah, when there was a bunch of stuff done up for Halloween, and there was the graveyard. There's a grave, like a little cemetery on the side as a gag in the ride. I don't know if we got any pictures of it, but maybe it's over by the house. And the only way anybody could fit in those graves is if they were babies, because of the way it was against the wall. That picture was from the Tiana's Wild Ride. We're all wet. So, yeah, it's from that picture of us grinning. And the Haunted Mansion, which is later. But no, it was the Wild Ride, I think. Yeah. And then later on. Is there any footage of us having gone on It's a Small World? Did we get any footage of that? Huh. No. Did. There's a teacup ride. I took a picture of the people decontaminating the teacup ride. That's pretty funny. Somebody barfed all over it, apparently. Arrgh. He didn't want to go on this. I totally did. We were trying to make each other throw up and take pictures. But it's obviously not going fast enough to make us barf. I don't get motion sick. He does. He apparently got motion sick on the Star Wars ride. Yep. But yeah, that's the middle of the park again. There's also the train ride thing. he got a lot of footage from that. The one that goes around the park, and that's when we went to It's a Small World. So that was day 3. It's a Small World. No, day 3. Had to have been. Yeah. But yeah, he had video footage of the inner tunnel thing with all the goofy stuff, but it didn't turn out. I didn't put it in here, so it's not in there. But yeah, so we have.
I think
we tried to do Peter Pan the first day, but the line was like an hour
Second
long.
day.
It was a return visit.
and we did the carousel. We did the teacup.
We actually did the
teacup ride,
carousel.
trying to get you to barf. Somebody barfed on the ride already. We're like, don't go in that.
Just
teacup.
before we got on, there
Ew.
was a hazmat situation, and they had to send
somebody
a
upchuck.
crew to discreetly hose the thing down and wipe it down with disinfectant. Somebody blew chunks or had an accident. We're not sure which. We didn't ask, but it was like, don't go in that cup. Yeah, I'm sure it's clean, but come on. So yeah, we
I'm sure they hosed everything down.
I'm sure it probably happens every day in every cup. You try not to think about it too much.
And actually, it was quite a bit slower than I remember that ride.
Yeah, it's
because we had it going fast 9 years ago.
Well, I was honestly trying not to make myself motion sick, so that.
And you got motion sick from the Star Tours. You didn't like the Star Tours.
Oh, there's more of a. I didn't get like that. If the ride lasted longer than it does, I'd probably start getting queasy, because the difference with that one is you're getting a disconnect. The ride itself is just a big car thing, a box that's on a gimbal, and so it's simulating moving. But the visuals that you're seeing on the screen are showing you zooming in all these different directions and flipping around, and of course what your eye is seeing and what your inner ear is telling you are two different things. So for me that translates to motion sickness. That's been my little curse since I was a little kid. I used to go on car trips. I would turn green, apparently.
Yeah, and on the infamous Pine Hill whale watching trip, when everybody turned green except for
half of everybody on that boat.
That whale watching boat, I did not. I was up near the front, and Mike Van Dam didn't either. Yeah.
No, he was eating a bologna and mustard sandwich right next to me while I was feeling really sick. That didn't help. But yeah, I've always been prone to motion sickness, so I got to watch things like that. I don't get sick at all on roller coasters or things where
it's a different movement.
Yeah, I can see where we're going, and everything kind of lines up. Then no problem. Although I can't do centrifuge rides like I used to. When you're a little kid, I guess your inner ear is just more robust. If I got one on like one of those Gravitron things now, I'd probably regret the hell out of it.
So what day did we go on the Roaring Rapids, Bear Rapids?
That was
California Adventure
Day 2. That was California.
Morning.
That was one of the things that we did do in that park. No wait at all. It was like 5 minutes or whatever. We just jumped right on.
We also did the Jungle Cruise, but was that the day before?
Jungle Cruise might have been
first day.
I think
Indiana
that was
Jones.
day 1. We did Indiana Jones
and Jungle Cruise.
We
did Jungle Cruise first because the queue line was an hour.
Yeah, the queue for the indie ride at the time was almost an hour.
And that lady was telling those corny jokes.
That's the whole appeal. You ride the Jungle Cruise for the jokes. The attraction itself is kind of just frosting.
You mentioned that Steve Martin, the famous comedian. You kids out there don't even know who that is. Steve Martin.
Your folks
Christ
watch Murders, only Murders in the Building, so they know who that is.
But yeah, he used to be the host on it.
He was one of the top comedians and comic actors of his time. But he apparently got his start. One of his early jobs was as a boat captain on the Jungle Cruise, and when you ride the ride, you can see it. It's like, yeah,
he totally would have been.
If you're a budding comic, this is you could have a field day. And it's always different jokes. Every cast member who does that ride has their own shtick of like jokes that they nail down for, what you're seeing alligators or whatever, and they'll make a joke about handbags or something, but.
I don't think that'd be funny, but I don't think
they didn't this time. But this is the sort of thing that is liable to happen. Super old school. It's very charmingly retro. They've upgraded it a bunch of times. I remember the ride from when I was a kid, and it was a lot more low tech. And honestly, they upgraded some of the more problematic aspects of it. because you're supposed to be going through a jungle, and they thought, oh, let's put some natives in there. And those things didn't age so well, so they've upgraded it to be a bit more modern.
Some of that's still on that weird Columbia River / Mississippi River.
Yeah.
Right. There's still some Native Americans out there.
Yeah, and I mean it's fairly
suggesting that, like,
benign, but it's still kind of like, oh look, an Indian brave, and he's going to tell you a story. It's still kind of like very,
goodness. Oh,
it's
a little
it's a very dated portrayal.
Yeah, it's not a bad thing that they're idiots. It's a bad thing. It's a portrayal of.
Yeah, no, it's just it's very kind of old school. Supposedly a lot of that stuff is going bye-bye. Like the big reason we did Tom Sawyer's Island is they're apparently within the week they're going to shut that all down. They'll have to drain the pond, the river, and completely rebuild. I forget what it was that they were going to put there in place of Tom Sawyer's Island.
I don't think they said.
They didn't say. I looked it up and now I've forgotten what it was that they're going to put something more modern there. So yet another piece of Disneyana park history is going to go bye-bye, and you miss it, but you can also sort of understand, okay, outside of like your high school English class, how many kids today have read Tom Sawyer or know who that is?
Or can read Tom Sawyer, because originally, there are certain characters.
Well, they fortunately had the good taste to never go there, but it's very old school, and it's like, in the 1950s when they built the park, there was still like a demand for westerns and stuff, so that's why they put Frontierland in. And now westerns are so passé and just such a relic of an earlier time. It's charming.
Gallery in though.
There's still some touches of it, but it's way stripped back from what it used to be. Because how many little kids anymore are like, yay, a new cowboy movie. I want to be a cowboy when I grow up. It's just so old school.
So they kind of, whenever they had any Western themed stuff, they would throw Woody and Buzz in there.
Yeah, that's kind of their get out of jail free. They keep upgrading stuff that was original to the parks, and if not replacing them with stuff that ties into the movies, then just adding a whole mess of stuff. So when you ride It's a Small World, half of that ride now...
Did we do it twice or just once?
I think we just did it once.
We did Little Mermaid at least twice.
We did Little Mermaid, I think, 3 times. Just because there's never a wait for that.
Yeah,
you just jump right on it.
Little ride.
But It's a Small World is now chock full of Disney characters. Like half of the ride is just sort of a commercial for Disney. It's like, oh, there's Lilo and Stitch, and there's Woody and Buzz. And
well, that's because they took away some of the problematic ones that were...
Well, yeah, but they also thought, well, we could just be reminding you of all of our marketable properties while you're here.
And posters in the beginning and the end.
And so I don't know. I'm of the old school opinion that by stripping out stuff that was original to the parks and wasn't really meant to be a commercial for itself, that they're losing a little bit of the original old school charm.
Yep. So another queue line for something. Oh, that was the parade, and then the Disney thing, and the Disney crystal shop, and the guys talking, and the bad 20 jokes. Huh? Now we're in the thing for the Disney. Oh, Walt Disney. Let's ignore all the messed up stuff that Walt Disney did and put it in the park. That thing, yeah. But yeah, the some of the cast people, it seemed like there was 20,000 the first day. Then it increased to the weekend where it was like, there was 50,000 people. Probably not that many, but it seemed like it. There was a lot of people. I don't think it ever got to 70,000. That would have been nuts. And there was a parade going on as well. So like a parade. There are also a lot of people that were Amazonian like big ladies, like Amazonian like built, that were in the race. It was some sort of relay race like for nature people, so they had like tats and stuff around the park. So it was some kind of it was a theme. There were a bunch of them in the park. I don't know if we were running into the same crowd of people or whether it was the same. But yeah, there was definitely a theme going on. Disney. There's the crystalline. Yeah. version of Cass. It's not like the other one. It's Entangled. Beauty and the Beast. And yeah, all is done in crystal bits from different rocks. Extremely expensive. So yeah, here's another thing. Well, there's the court. Doesn't matter. People on the park and shots of on the final day that were just everywhere. Nothing weird, really. Didn't encounter anybody untoward at all. They seemed to be on the same wavelength. They wanted to go to Disneyland and just go on rides. There was, however, somebody tweaking on the road on the end of the third night. And the third night, there was a guy tweaking on the road with no shirt. He was frying, and it wasn't like a Good Samaritan thing. It's like, no, this dude probably no, wasn't like that. But yeah, anyway. So here we are at the Hollywoodland part of the park. Gonna go over there. Yeah, a lot of the Avengers gift shop stuff was only about the other Hollywoodland thing. Which is what's Hollywood Studios is what's left of that paparazzi ride. So they still kept the theme park, which is weird because of the way they did that. But yeah, the idea that they're happily ever after. Yeah, I wonder how many people have posed in front of that but turned the other way so it's coming out of their backhand. Just saying. That's blurry. Whatever he was trying to take a picture of there. Oh, there's a good one. It was Mickey Mouse proving that he, in fact, is Minnie in drag. Oh my. And that's a 9/11 reference. I think. Or maybe not. 9/11. If Disneyland... right at that. Then we have some... Yeah, so there was people in the park. Somebody outside the park was tweaking on the sidewalk. But yeah, that was in the unavoided person. Yeah, because dude, who knows what kind of he could have gotten up and been all D's and shit. But anyways, so the the drop tower. We didn't go on that. That used to be the Tower of Terror. Went on that in 2009. Never again. Didn't want to. Let's reenact those fucked up elevator dreams. Let's do that. No. Here we have the Avengers campus stuff that looks kind of like San Jose State, which is funny. And their current revamped stuff. But not a whole lot there. Yeah, there's no footage of it. It's a small one on here. But you didn't get any footage of that. It's weird. Huh. That was... And there were characters out there. Phase 1 and Phase 2. Mickey's blitzed. He's had a little too much. Ha-ha. Something. Ha-ha. His eye's a kite. Ha. Talented bear. Talented bears. The Country Bear Jamboree was being closed down in 2009. The movie was not good. And then I'm posing next to a bunch of Marvel stuff in their store, which is odd, because there were Marvel stuff in the store, but I wouldn't buy nothing in there. I do pose next to an action figure, a little toy of a Rocket, but I didn't buy it. That's going to come up pretty soon, too. We're going to go back to the store. But yeah, the later stuff, Dig 2 is not, Star-Lord mask, and I forgot about that. Later on in the third movie, that he could do that, because he's an alien. Here's a lot of shots of the upper half of the Spider-Man thing. but without the Spider-Man drone on it, so it doesn't look like anything. What's he doing? What was I thinking? And then there's yeah, the on some stuff on the outer edge of the thing. Is it evening already? Yeah, it's evening already. And yeah, we didn't get a shot of It's a Small World. And they're gonna go to the Color of Light show. I don't think I filmed that because you kind of can't. So when we get to that, that's not gonna be on there. So there's this, yeah. There's no film evidence that we were on It's a Small World on it. Didn't film that. I don't know where his roll of footage from that ended up. But we did go on it and did comment on it. And now it's Hollywoodland again. Yeah. At separate times, we were on that awful paparazzi ride. Which became Monsters Inc. And we had to go on Monsters Inc. again. So they do. I wanted to. He didn't. But yeah, it's redressed of that ride. It may only be in legend. Yeah. Skipping over the other evening stuff here. Little Mermaid ride a bunch of times. Schmoozles. Buy that twice. Because that was just on the end. And yeah, it just looks cool at night. But and he didn't think that they would have closed the Disney park to do a few moments of the Tarantino movie Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, which looks like the 60s. But I think they did. Because they couldn't re-establish these sets and whatever. I think they waited for a day when it was partly closed and just filmed there for that one day when I think they did. I think they did do some of Tarantino's movie on the Disney set. Kind of guerrilla style. They're like, oh yeah, bring the actors into the park, close off this section, and just say, okay, California Adventure Hollywoodland is closed for this half an hour or hour or so. We're going to film here, and then we're going to leave. And I think they did. So some of the colored light shows. They did. I'm pretty sure they did. They just used the Disney stuff. Because it was only one scene where she walks up. And here's some footage from the bear thing after everything. Oh, there we go. He's going to eat the kids. And he's a female, apparently. It's a girl bear. I don't see any ding-dang there. And on the way out on that final night, walked by the tweaking guy. We didn't get any picture of that, of course. Mainly, looks like Wayne wanted to get pictures of that guy at the top on the way out, and a bunch of swag, pictures and things, briefy things, and 70th anniversary of Disney. Disney thing. You can bet it'll be crazy in the 75th anniversary, diamond anniversary. It'll be insane. And for some reason, when they were doing that movie, the Wish movie, they were saying 100th anniversary of what? Steamboat Willie? I must have been talking about Steamboat Willie, because Walt Disney would be 125. It couldn't be him, so I don't know what they were talking about. In the park, it was 70, and it's the first park, Disneyland, and then Disney World in the 1970s. So yeah, that is the slideshow. We are getting to the end of the slideshow, and yeah, having fun shooting the shibbons about this kind of thing is here. Out at the mall and the park, the 70th anniversary, and all, yeah. Somebody coming into frame there. And yeah, plenty of that. And this has been the slideshow, the Kal Kat slideshow. You see the Kal Kat and Marx Cards full interview, blog, along with this. I'm not going to make them cut and paste movie together because it doesn't make sense. So this hour, then the other stuff is another hour. That makes more sense. Yeah, so here we are. And they're back to the Iron Man because, of course, the Iron Man. And there's the critter. Now, Marx Cards is footage from inside there. And the light show. And the Muppets mentioned, which was a little weird, but oh well. Anyway, so here's some oddities left over on the other reel. Okay, slideshow, and they had Muppets, and they really don't own them anymore. That's weird, but yeah, just kept saying don't jump in the lake, and you know they wanted to. Anyway, don't jump in the bay. Here's the night, and that's it. That's kind of it. That's all she wrote. Yeah. And there's the swag. Da, 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 da. Disney swag. Disney swag. This is Mr. Stories. Disney swag. Disney swag. And yeah. Just thought I would quickly show off immediately Disney swag. That's all this is so far. Put together the slideshow. With the stuff I'm wearing the shirt. Yeah. This Kal Kat, the Kal Katster, is Monday, September 8th. There was a 4-day Disneyland episode. So, well, not an episode. We didn't really film it. There are clips, but there are clips. The Kal Kat and Marx Cards. So, the California Adventure stuff that was day 2 started out with the rafting ride, which we got all wet, and then went around the park, and I went to Tomorrowland and went on all the Tomorrowland stuff. Didn't go in was going to be Jedi Academy, but got changed to the lounge for the upper crusty Star Warsy guys. You can't go in there. So in Disneyland, it's closed too. We didn't have, If we were actually shills for Disney, they would of course let us in. Which is also the case in the movie 33 Lounge as well, Club 33. They would have let us in there too, but we're not, so we didn't go in. There was the rafting thing, the day 2. What else did we? Day 2 didn't have a whole lot of California Adventure because a lot of the rides were 3D. The Spider-Man ride 3D, you can't see 3D. So we ended up in Fantasyland again in Tomorrowland. Fantasyland and Tomorrowland went on all the classic rides. And the Peter Pan, the Frog ride, the Alice in Wonderland, the Teacups, all that stuff. I think we did the Teacups day 3. Yeah, that was day 3. And Alice in Wonderland was day 3. We did all that part of it, day 3. You have... Also day 3 it was the thing. Day 1, day 2 was a little more of. We did go on the Space Mountain and the Star Wars thing, the old Star Wars one, the Star Tours, which they updated to be 3D. We also went on the earlier on the other day. First day we went to the Buzz Lightyear thing. That's what we were doing over there, Buzz Lightyear thing, the kid ride. The second day in the California Adventure, we went on the Little Mermaid ride twice. But the Star Wars land was very cool, and Mermaid ride is very cool. So on the Peter Pan ride and the Pinocchio ride, the Snow White and the Cinderella ride, all that. And all that. Fantasyland. Mainly that was day 2 and 3. We rode on the carousel, the merry-go-round horses. I keep wanting to say Ferris wheel, and it was a carousel. The things here and there, I think they're closing the Tom Sawyer Island thing. They put something else in there. But yeah, it was sort of like 9 years ago when they were closing the western and petting area and the animal area to put in the Star Wars land. So yeah. But yeah, and the train, the second one too, the train around the park, the red train. That was the second day. In Toontown. We went to Toontown as well. We went on. There was stuff in two. Was that day 2? That was day 2. That was the beginning of. Okay, I think. Okay, after. So day 3. Day 3 was Splash Mountain, which has been renamed Tiara's Bayou Adventure or something ride. They took all the racist stuff off, so you could go in. It's just reskinned. It's sort of like how Monsters Inc. has reskinned the Mickey limo ride. It used to be the Mickey limo ride, and we've been on that years and years ago, and it was there once. And yeah, so there was the Disneyland trips have been quite sparse for me personally. That was 2000. So there's been in the past 25 years. Now it's the 70th anniversary. It's been for the park. It's not 70th anniversary. That limo ride, that cheesy limo ride, had been there in 2001 during the Disney trip. 2009, it was gone. It was replaced with Monsters Inc. In 2015, still Monsters Inc. Now it's still Monsters Inc. We didn't go on that until the night of day 3. So yeah, in the evening. All the Fantasyland stuff was day 3 as well, and anything we had left over we went on. I don't think we missed much of anything. The Indiana Jones ride, we went on that with the River Cruise one. That was on day 1. So yeah, just remember that. Very jarring ride, like in dark places, and as in I couldn't see a lot of it. Oh yeah, and Star Tours was 3D, so I couldn't see it. Yes. Well, not on the actual ride, but then that ruled out the Spider-Man ride. It didn't rule out the Toontown thing on day 3, where we were able to go to the Toontown stuff, and the wacky cab one and the other one. The train, runaway train, was also that new one. That was next level projection wall hologram thing. Yeah. Well, it's not holograms. It just reminded me of a holodeck. It isn't really. It was projection screens. Like the World of Color would also do that. The night of day 2 was the parade? Yeah, day 2 was the parade. Day 3 was World of Color at night. In that order. There was a marathon going on at the time. And yeah, so didn't know what. There were also the curiosity of a lot of tattooed people. But they were cool tattoos. I don't think they were connected at all. I think they just, it was LA area and they liked them for whatever reason. And they're animal tattoos. Usually they were like critters. A lot of butterflies. I don't know what it means. But yeah. There were probably other ones that were some kind of nationality or ethnic thing, but I didn't ask. Anyway, so yeah, that's kind of a recap there of the Disney trip. Yeah, so yeah, it is cool. So we'll hear more details on Thursday. Now, just getting back to the recap. Yes, 70th anniversary. But oddly enough, a year ago, Disney was saying 100th. and it wasn't the 100th anniversary of anything, except maybe Steamboat Willie, the one cartoon, Steamboat Willie. But yeah, no, it was the 70th of Disneyland. It's wrong in Jurassic Park. It's in 1958. No, it was 1955. And yeah, so 70th. I have a jacket and all that. I never had a Disney jacket. Now I have one. Ha ha ha. Yes. Lots of candy that I brought back. That way I was going to eat, but what happened is I bought. I'm gonna eat it later, but I guess. But yeah, I bought all this candy with intent to eat it while walking around the park, and we brought it back to the room, and I didn't eat it. So I have it, and I brought it home. But yes, the candy bars did survive the trip in the bag. They had to be cooled off a little bit. They were a little melty. They survived. They made it. There we are. No, that's a recap, I guess. I did a 1 hour slideshow. I don't know. I guess you could add to it our little commentary thing, and then it would, pass YouTube's regulations. It shouldn't be a problem. There's literally nothing untoward in it at all, so shouldn't be anything wrong. So yeah, Star Wars thing was very cool. The other stuff, yeah. No, it's Disneyland. Marx Cards seems to like buying lots of pins. Kept saying, you don't have to buy, you don't have to collect, you don't have to. Wasn't really going to. But I was also in the habit of responding to whenever he used the affirmative you when he was talking about something else. Like, you always do that, you always do that. And it wasn't me, it was in general. Well, usually if you use the affirmative you, I think it is about me. Usually.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, you do so much jumping around that it's kind of hard to, unless you keep it like a travel journal or you're taking a whole mess of photos, it's kind of hard to like piece together chronologically what you do because you're just sort of bouncing all over.
We didn't go on the Avengers coaster. I was too chicken.
Yeah, it's not the Avengers, it's the Incredicoaster.
Incredicoaster. And we went on Space Mountain, which is actually the most intense coaster in the park. However, because you're in Space Mountain, you are encased in a sort of tube going up, then down. You're not really aware of the park spinning past you at the speed of light. It's more like things are just going, like images are floating past you. So it distracts you, and you don't notice the motion and all that stuff. Whereas if I had gone on the Avengers thing, I would have been like, because you can see everything around
it's
me.
very intense. The initial burst is what gets you on that coaster. It like stops you, and you're staring down the barrel of like about a couple hundred feet of track, and then it just shoots you forward like 0 to 60 in about 2 seconds. So it's pretty intense.
Yeah.
It's a great coaster, but yeah, we ended up not doing that. Wasn't a whole lot that we actually did in California Park. They've changed a lot of it, like in its original iteration, and I was there its first year.
And stuff.
There was a certain amount of movie tie-in stuff. There were a few Pixar things, but mostly it was meant to be its own thing. And it was kind of underwhelming. Like, they didn't really have a lot of flagship rides other than the coaster. Their whole shtick was, I was supposed to harken back to various eras of California history.
It's probably something Walt Disney wouldn't have wanted to build.
Yeah, it's a weird
would
thing
have been
because,
like, no.
For one thing, we're already in California.
It's kind of weird.
So it's like, let's go to see a weirdly idealized version of the same state.
It did change things, though, because 9 years ago, it was San Francisco and not San Francisco.
They changed a lot. Yeah,
they took out all the Bugs Life stuff.
Yeah, they're constantly upgrading.
Yeah.
A lot of the Pixar stuff is gone now, except for Cars Land.
They left the Monsters Inc. thing in, which we did on the final night.
Yeah, it's actually...
We went to the Monsters Inc. thing, and then we went... Well, on the first night, was the first night that we went and saw the parade, going along in the parade.
Yeah, that was the first night.
What's that called?
It's... the heck is that?
The parade. It's not the electrical parade anymore. It's the.
I forget the name of the parade because honestly, we weren't even sure we were going to be able to see it.
And the last one was. The last parade on the last night was World of Color in California.
Yeah, it's not a parade. It's
so we were there
sort of water
show. Yeah, kind of like a holiday.
Yeah.
But what about all the we did mostly all the old school rides on the third day because we were out around.
Yeah, we had done most of the flagship stuff, so it was kind of like, all right, well now we're free to pretty much just do whatever sounds good, and so we would just sort of go in a direction and be like, oh, we haven't done the Alice in Wonderland ride, and fortunately on the app now you can pull up, ahead of time, oh, there's only a 25-minute wait for ride X, so you can just jump right in the line. And
I think we did Mr. Toad and Peter Pan the first day, and then later on all the other ones.
They for a while, and there's still some stuff of it there, but like Pirates of the Caribbean, originally it was a ride, and it wasn't based on anything, it was just kids like pirates, let's put a pirate ride in. And for decades it was a super popular flagship ride.
Still there, we went on.
It's still there, but when they decided to make a movie, they had to invent a storyline because the ride doesn't really have much of one. So they added all these characters, they put Johnny Depp in, and that becomes this huge thing, kind of caught everybody by surprise. People sort of forget, like the original movie was kind of expected to bomb. It was like, what is this weird movie with Johnny Depp as a drunken pirate?
Although, wasn't it that famous director what directed it?
Gore Verbinski directed it. Did a bang-up job. It's a great movie.
Didn't Christopher Columbus have anything to do with that or not?
No.
I thought he did.
I don't think so. I know he didn't direct it then.
Bruce?
The guy who
Bruckheimer too? Something like that?
Bruckheimer produced it. The guy who directed the American remake of The Ring. Did a bang-up job, but then that becomes huge, and now everyone's like, oh, Pirates of the Caribbean is Jack Sparrow, who was never part of the ride. They're like, oh, well, now we got to put Jack Sparrow on the ride. So now there's like this weird feedback loop happening where the ride is upgraded to reflect the movie that would have only existed because the ride was already there. And by changing it to be a commercial for the movie, now it's kind of like, what was the original point? And I don't know. I'm not completely opposed to it. It just kind of makes me feel a little bit melancholy when I look at like pieces of stuff that was just unique to the park and never really meant to be anything other than just for the park, slowly being replaced by stuff that is more
weren't they going to tear down that treehouse? I know in our last video they had a bunch of. You took 1 million pictures of the Chippendale treehouse.
Oh, the Chippendale treehouse.
But they put it back, apparently.
They did not, actually. It's gone.
It is gone?
Yeah. It was over by the Gadget Go coaster.
Oh, it is gone?
Yeah, they took it out. That's why I took 1 million pictures of it. Spoiler alert, I am a Chippendale fan. And so I thought, oh, well, last chance to see this, even though... It never really was anything. It's just a cute little tree house that you can go up some stairs and look out the top.
I thought it was still there. Maybe it wasn't.
What is there is the tree that used to be the Swiss Family tree house in Adventureland, and that's way bigger and there's way more to do in it. They turned it into the Tarzan tree house as a commercial for Tarzan. I call it a commercial. I'm being cynical, but I think the thinking was like, all right, kids of today have heard of that movie. They haven't really seen Swiss Family Robinson.
Yeah, I mean,
but at this point, how many kids of today have watched Tarzan? Because that movie's like 28 years old now or something.
Is that old? When did Tarzan come out?
A while back, early 2000s. They were still doing 2D animation at the time. So it had to be from like the Lilo and Stitch era. I don't remember exactly. But the thing is, like, Tarzan did well, but did it leave much of a footprint? Like, are little kids clamoring for Tarzan costumes for Halloween or, I
don't know how you would do a Tarzan costume.
You couldn't, but I mean, my point being, it didn't leave much of a footprint. So it's kind of like the Tarzan treehouse. A lot of little kids are just going to be like, huh? Oh, is that a movie? And they'd be saying that for Swiss Family Robinson too, but...
They really wouldn't know what that is. That was out in the 70s.
That was out in the 50s, I believe.
50s. Well,
yes, really super old school. But again, it didn't have to... You didn't have to necessarily know what it was from.
In the 70s.
They think they did, but
yeah.
don't know anything. I know they've done a bunch of adaptations, but the Disney one, I grew up with that. That was one of my favorite movies as a kid. So I always have a soft spot.
Live action?
It's live action. They never did an animated take on it. Yeah. And it's super corny. It's super dated, but it's fun. It's a charming movie in its own way. Yeah. So I have a lot of nostalgia. So that's just my personal preference. I'm not saying it's bad that it's Tarzan. I'm just saying, me personally, I don't have any real connection to Tarzan.
And then there's the bizarre Swiss Family Robinson sort of pseudo spinoff in the mid '60s, in which they were going to call it Space Family Robinson.
Oh yeah.
And the show aired around the same time Star Trek did. Star Trek is now 59. Mm-hmm. Happy birthday, Star Trek. It was called Lost in Space.
Yep.
It was originally called the Space Family Robinson.
Which kind of makes more sense.
That's literally what it
like
was.
spells it out a little more cleanly what their premise was.
Yeah.
Because that's what it was.
That's what it was.
Yeah, no, that was a charming, super dated show, but that's part of the charm.
Dr. Smith,
robot.
But yes, but the danger, Will Robinson, danger. Did we meet Bill Murray once?
I know we saw him at some conventions. But yeah, that wasn't a Disney show. That was just sort of its own thing.
Universal or something.
But
yeah, we also went on Tiana's Rapids.
Yes, we did go on that. That's actually the first time I've ever seen it.
What's the what is it called? You gave it a different name than
I couldn't remember it, so I just kept calling it Tiana's Wet and Wild Splashdown Ride or whatever. It's actually called Tiana's Bayou Adventure, I think. And it's specifically referencing a movie that presumably kids have heard of. I know Princess and the Frog actually did really well. It's better remembered.
I think they've heard of that one because
it makes sense. The thing is, a lot of people didn't realize that Splash Mountain was based on a movie. We used to talk to park employees who didn't realize. They just sort of figured, it's just this thing that Disney did just for the park. And it's like, yeah, but actually, Zippity Doo-Dah and all that stuff comes from a movie. It's just nobody's ever seen it. And then
except for us.
I have it on Japanese Laserdisc, because I'm a Disney guy, and so just familiar with it. Honestly, having seen the movie, and not to get into any of it, other than to say the only stuff in it that's particularly memorable is the animated stuff, and that's smartly what they focused on. So when they made the ride, they just went for the animated animal characters.
And Splashdown opened in what, 1990
Splash Mountain
or so?
was actually late 80s.
It was late 89, early 1990.
Yeah, or late 80s. I don't think any later than that because I was still in, I think, junior high when it came out.
So I do remember when it was going to open because of the embarrassing incident of the on the first Disney trip of the 80s, last Disney trip of the 80s, as I say, the first Disney trip of the Cantrells. It was a senior trip in high school. His senior trip was to go to Europe. My senior trip was to go to Disneyland at Universal. So my senior trip, I went to Disneyland with the Cantrells, and there was a water slide park that happened to have a similar name in Milpitas called Splashdown. Very similar. So very similar. Being a naive teenager of 18. I did not realize that I was about 400 miles away from Milpitas, California, and it's not likely I would encounter other Milpitans at the Disney Resort Park in the pool. And trying to be a smartass, as I was, a smarty pants. I know everything, Some of them brought up that Splash Mountain, was not yet opened. It was closed. Not yet open. And I immediately butted in on some random conversation. But they were cute girls, so hey, why not? I butted in on them, and they looked at me like I was crazy. I was from space. And, I was from space, but we came on the Cantrell's Space Winnebago from Spaceballs, of course. It was a South Wind. But Big Tim thought it was the funniest thing that he ever heard. Those girls are from around here. They're from, I don't know where. Whoa. And it was like, they don't know anything about Milpitas. Come on, dude. Whoa. Yeah. So I was like, Yeah, Splashdown was not opened yet. That's what they meant, and it would be opened in a couple of months.
Yeah, they were talking about Splash Mountain.
They were talking about Splash Mountain.
Yeah, which makes sense.
Which opened
they were
in
near the Disney.
Late '89, early 1990. This was July. It was July 30th or 31st, '89. I think it opened around. It opened around like
later
December.
that year.
Yeah.
You just missed it, but
it hadn't been open. It hadn't opened yet.
That's what I mean. It wasn't quite open yet, but it's. I'm sure it was hellishly crowded when it.
I'm sure it was.
The line was probably around the block, but
in '92 we got to see it. Tim and I went back for Easter. Yeah.
But yeah, and that was always one of my favorite rides. I super charming. Again, not to get into the movie itself. Which again, people didn't even know there was a movie, and so when the kind of that knowledge sort of went viral, and people started going, "Oh, hey guys, did you know there's this movie that this is from?" And then it became kind of a hot point thing, and they decided, all right, we're not really looking for controversy. We're not looking to rock any boats here. Let's just upgrade it. Let's just do something else that is not going to be seen as problematic, and so they did. So this was my first time seeing it, because it's only been the new ride for about a year. The new version, the Tiana version. If you go to, I've never been to the China Disney park or the Paris one, but I can say definitively, Tokyo Disney Splash Mountain is still there. So if you are a Disney head and you get a hankering to ride the original classic ride, you're going to have to get on a plane if you're from here. If you already live in Japan, great, you're in luck. Just go to the park.
Well, I'm going to briefly mention only in political terms why it is controversial. The movie, in the strictest of PCs of terms, the movie is set in just after the Civil War, and it's called Song of the South, and it portrays the characters in it who are there's an African American man in it, portrays him as a bizarre, happy-go-lucky former Southern servant. Yes, but he enjoys his life in the South and sings about it with little creatures flying around.
So
and other things.
Yeah, without putting any foot into the controversy itself, to summarize it, the movie is an Uncle Remus story. He's a famous character from folklore. He goes back, over a century. And the movie is a portrait of life on a plantation just immediately post-Civil War. And a lot of the controversy for most people have only read about the movie, they haven't seen it. Is it Disney, even from the early days of home video, they were like, yeah, we're not putting this one out. It's already too much of a hot button issue. It was controversial in its day. They made the movie and were, I'm led to understand, a bit stung. Late 40s. They thought that they had made a movie that, nobody's going to complain about this. It's fun. It's nice. And it came out, and it still got quite a bit of backlash at the time, and supposedly the Disney company was kind of shocked by that. They were like, what are you complaining about? This is, not in favor of anything, bad. But the basically what it boils down to, if you really know about the movie, it is a portrait of life in that era, in that part of the country, that is very soft-pedaled, let's put it that way. It's very gently idyllic. It's kind of saying there just aren't any problems. Everything's just very nice, and nobody really has any problems with anybody, and so it's kind of a guilt by omission. It's kind of gilding the lily of like. It's portraying a time in American history that was fairly ugly and complicated, and saying, don't worry about any of that. We just want to have a cute story, and we're just not even going to address what life was actually like at that time. So it's guilt of omission, I would say.
And of course, we had absolutely zero anything to do with any of that, because we weren't born yet at all.
Yeah. Bottom line, when people found out about the movie, there was some some controversy and outcry, and Disney's solution to that, I think understandably, was let's just take the lightning rod out of the equation and just make it be something else. That's the easiest solution, because they have no interest in revisiting the movie. You're unless you go deep diving, you're not going to see that movie. They've kept it pretty under wraps.
It is weird though. They already knew the controversy by the time they built the ride, and built the ride anyway.
The ride never once mentions the movie. That's why I was saying there's employees who work there who didn't know it was supposed to be based on a movie.
It did have the song though.
But if you don't know the movie, you would just think the song came from the ride. It's like, yeah, all of the characters and all the music and everything that happens in the ride comes directly from the animated segments of the movie. So knowing that going into it, it's, again, your reaction to knowing that is going to be a personal thing.
But they kept the ride going until
they kept it going, but again, nobody knew. It wasn't until the information age, the internet, and this knowledge sort of goes viral, clickbait, stories. You won't believe where this ride actually comes from. Did you know that? And everybody kind of got interested and read up on it, and was just like, oh, I didn't know there was a movie. What is this? And then it became a thing that people started talking about. But in the 80s and 90s, nobody knew. Because again, Disney took that movie and just kind of went, let's just put this away in the closet and not talk about it.
Maybe not the closet.
But they kept the thing is, people sort of forgot that there was a movie, but the Zippity Doo-Dah song is an iconic Disney song. And the characters in the animated segments are, probably better known than anything else about that movie. Brer Rabbit, Brer Fox, Brer Bear. So that's kind of why they thought, well, we can get away with doing a ride, we just won't remind people that it's a movie.
It's kind of the opposite of the Haunted Mansion, the other one. Under the Pirates of the Caribbean. So when did we go on the Haunted Mansion? That was day 3.
That had to be day 3.
When did we go on the Wet n Wild Ride of day 3? That was in the morning. Then we went on the Haunted Mansion.
Second day was the river rapids, the Bear Mountain, and
beginning of the second day.
Beginning of second day.
Because we wanted to get all wet first.
Yeah, fortunately, it was actually pretty warm. I don't recall that we got soaked pretty good, but I don't recall that I wasn't completely dried off after just like an hour.
And then Tiana's ride was the third day.
That was the third day
in the morning, and then there was we went. We did a lot of the kiddie rides. We went on the carousel.
We did all
we did the teacups.
Classic
day 3.
Yeah, you got to do Mr. Toad's Wild Ride. We got
on the Toad ride early on, didn't we?
That was the last day, because it was usually that ride has a long queue to get onto it. Peter Pan, same thing. Usually there's a long queue to get on Peter Pan. Because of all those classic dark rides, it's probably the most famous one.
In the evening of... the Indiana Jones ride starts out as a dark ride when you're in the corridor.
Yeah.
There's the cave and the other thing, which were interesting. But yeah, I enjoyed the Indiana Jones ride, even though
it's fun. It knocks you around quite a bit.
It does knock you around quite a bit. And then there's the on the carousel, and then there's the
we did the Pinocchio and the Snow White ride.
No, Snow White ride on day 2 or 3.
That was the third day.
And then you had the Guardians of the
that was
Guardians of the Galaxy. We didn't go on the drop tower.
We didn't do the drop tower.
We do a little sketch.
But yeah, we were outside, and there's a guy playing Star-Lord and a lady playing Gamora, and they came out. His hair was like Jimmy Neutron's hair. It was kind of interesting.
Saw some characters, but not a lot.
Not as many as you might imagine.
I saw Eeyore early on the third day.
Yeah, that was over by Tiana's thing.
One of the princesses and one of the other ones. There was an Alice and
from the distance you'll see like Mickey on Main Street, surrounded by an ocean of kids, and
I saw many ones.
But yeah, we didn't. Usually you see more characters. I don't know. Maybe we just weren't like in the areas where they normally come out. But a lot of times they'll do things where they'll have a character just sort of pop up out of nowhere, like you're in Fantasyland and suddenly Winnie the Pooh is standing behind you.
It's funny that on the It's a Small World, the Little Mermaid ride, and also on the Tiana Wet ride and the Yeah, those three specifically. Somebody took the time to animate some of the characters to look like their eyes were blitzed on something, and so on the the frog ride thing, that one of the frogs looked like he'd been bloodshot eyes, and he was like Brian.
I think that was just the way the animatronic looked.
And then on the other one, that was pretty funny. And then yeah, I'm sure it was the.
We didn't see any animatronic glitches like you see online sometimes, those Disney fail videos. The closest thing we saw to a blooper was on the Columbia ship. There's supposed to be a part where they fire the cannon at the marauding swamp raiders are coming. So fire the cannon, and then the thing just wouldn't fire. And after about 30 seconds, the poor lady just kind of apologized and gave up. And,
well, I guess we scared them off.
Yeah, and then the voiceover's on a track, so it's just like, well, that shot ought to have done it. And it's like, what shot? But that was about the closest we saw to like an actual blooper.
Well, wasn't there some lighting issues on the first time we went on the mermaid ride? A part of it was dark.
We noticed on
the second time we went.
I thought, well, maybe just our eyes hadn't adjusted, but no, I'm pretty sure the lighting seemed to be like the candle power was less the first time we rode it. And when we went on it again, it was nighttime, and just for whatever reason, it just seemed a lot brighter and more vibrant.
I think there was one piece of it where it was slightly dim in the ride.
It's possible.
But it wasn't anything. It wasn't anything major like those blooper videos.
I wouldn't call it. I always kind of wonder, like, is this the ride where like Ariel's like hair is just going to deploy off, or like?
Another reskinned ride was the Monsters Inc.
Yeah, now that's
which we saw on the evening of the third night.
Yes.
It went on.
You had to wait like an hour to get on it for some reason.
Yeah, it stopped for like
I don't know. That ride's always been notorious.
That ride used to be the Mickey's limo ride.
It wasn't Mickey. It was Hollywood celebrity limos. I actually got to ride that thing
back when it first opened.
There's a reason that ride does not exist anymore, and now it's the Monsters Inc. ride. Because
Monsters Inc. came out.
It completely sucked. It was so lame. You got on this little car that was supposed to be a limo, and you're supposed to be riding through. You're on a you're a celebrity. You're going to the big studio for
like
for
2000. It's open for like a year.
For like a year, and like they had a bunch of like animatronic dummies of these sort of B and C list celebrities who were under contract for Disney at the time. So like, hey, look, it's Drew Carey, and then you're going past.
Yeah,
this is like a lot of empty space and some building backdrops, and then suddenly Drew Carey's there, and he's just kind of, ha ha ha, sure is funny out here. I'm funny, and he's just like saying something lame, and then you go past Whoopi Goldberg, and she's just like, honey, you're a star now, and then the ride just sort of ends, and it was just like, what the hell was that? Who approved of this one? It was really unpopular. Everybody hated it, so they reskinned the ride, put a whole bunch of Monsters Inc. stuff
Monsters
in it.
Inc. came out after they ripped off Nickelodeon's All Real Monsters.
Essentially. But, yeah, so the Monsters Inc. ride, it's the same exact ride. It follows the same path. It's just now there's actually something interesting to look. Supposedly the yellow-suited hazmat guy is Drew Carey under there. They just put the suit over him. The only way to be sure would be to rip the head off it and see what's under there.
And Whoopi Goldberg is the frog queen of the dream.
Oh yeah, so
it's Whoopi Goldberg.
But we made it a point to ride that ride because supposedly again in the next couple of weeks that is also going bye-bye, or so I have read. Oh. So we got to see sort of the last hurrah of Tom Sawyer's Island. Supposedly the riverboat is, I don't know if it's going away forever, but it's getting renovated. Monsters Inc. is going bye-bye.
The Cars ride was closed, and the theater which showed the
Aladdin Theater supposedly they put a Frozen show in for a little while, and then COVID happened, and they just shut it down. It's still just sitting there dead. Like they're gonna do something with it. I don't know what.
Like when we was there 9 years ago and met that TV star in there, and then afterward. And then afterward, I mentioned that to my niece Sarah, and she said,
"Yeah, there was some paparazzi when we were there. I guess somebody or other from TV was there."
And her people,
Yeah.
Or people, her posse was watching.
Yeah, so it's not like as if Tom Cruise was there and they would have just emptied the whole theater out and
It wasn't Miley Cyrus from Hannah Montana. It was the friend of the friend.
Yeah, I guess she was on the same show, so it's like, all right, people in the know knew who she. I had no idea.
The other cast members seemed to know right away who she was and everything.
I'm sure they were notified ahead of time. But in any case, yeah, that was cool.
Not this time though. That was 9 years ago.
Yeah, and that was because that show was closing down at the time. So it was again kind of like, if you want to see it, here's your last chance. I'm glad we did that. And yeah, now that theater is just sitting empty, as far as I know. There's supposedly plans afoot to do something with it. Another thing that's empty, or not empty, but not really being used, and we figured this out because we were trying to figure out what it was, is what used to be this section of Tomorrowland, this big circular building, and I forget what it's called, but
they're going to have a Jedi Academy.
they were supposedly,
they decided not
I guess
to.
it is still something. There's stuff in it, but it's only for people in the Disney Vacation Club or Visa.
Yeah, they made it all
Disney
like
Visa holders. So I don't know that it's high end, but it's like an exclusive little lounge that you go into. I don't think the whole building is that. It's probably just one little section of it. But that whole building and the rocket rods are gone.
It used to be the Imagine Land.
Yeah, Imaginarium or whatever the hell it was called. So that's gone, and then the tracks, the rocket rods tracks. The rocket rods went away like 20 years ago, something like that, because they kept breaking down. But they left the tracks, I guess, because it looks cool. But so there's stuff in the parks that's just sitting there, kind of abandoned.
And the People Mover tracks are up.
People Mover tracks are still there, not being used for anything.
Yeah, that hasn't been used since '92.
Yeah, that was when they stripped that out. It's always kind of interesting when you think about how much of a premium there is on space in these parks, and they've got these big sections that they're not using for much of anything. They could put something there.
Well, and then when the next big cheesy movie comes out, they will inevitably make a land if it makes $1 billion.
See, that's the thing.
They should stop with the prequels.
You'd think like you want to put something in to capitalize on that, but you also want to wait to see, is this going to last? Like, is this going to leave a footprint? Because again, like Tarzan, nobody's talking about Tarzan 15 some years later. It made money. People liked it, fine, but it didn't. It's not a movie that people remember like as a Disney classic. Little Mermaid is way older than Tarzan. People still talk about that one, so it makes sense for that to have.
They were calling that a classic the day it came out.
Oh yeah, but it stood that test of time. So it's like, okay, so it makes perfect sense. You know what's kind of interesting? They didn't do anything to mention any of these live action movies. There's like almost nothing referencing the Snow White movie that just came out.
We did find what appeared to be little action figures.
Yeah.
For this movie.
In one gift shop.
Gift shop.
Some high-end looking maquettes of...
Nobody's going to buy it.
And it's just like, yeah, nobody's... You can still get Snow White stuff from the cartoon, but the live action... There's a live action Beauty and the Beast. Everybody's forgotten that exists. Live action Lilo and Stitch is still fairly current, so there's a little bit of stuff, but it's like in 10 years nobody's going to be talking about the live action Lilo and Stitch. They're still going to remember the animated one.
That's actually not. I understand that it's not actually a bad one. It's just not necessary.
Exactly. Why?
It's not bad.
It's not going to take its place alongside. It's an interesting footnote. It's like you don't need it. The original movie already stuck the landing, so. When they do stuff in the parks, like Stitch is a big character in Disney Tokyo, it's the animated version that you're seeing, not the live new one.
And they also did a sort of an anime spin-off, didn't they?
They have their own series in Japan.
Well, that would be
Stitch somehow ends up in Japan, and there's like a different girl that's not Lilo, and he goes on all these adventures with her. Girl, and there's like a whole mess of characters that are canon only to that anime.
That would be in their park.
Yeah, so there's...
We didn't go on the submarine Nemo ride.
We didn't because honestly, I find that kind of lame.
We didn't go on the Tiki Room.
We didn't go on the Tiki Room. I would have, but we kiboshed that. Again, now there's another attraction where they tried to upgrade it a while back, and again, sometimes it's not a good idea to mess with something that's perfectly fine the way it is. They added, hipper elements to it and new characters, and it was dumb, and everybody hated it. And oh look, original Tiki Room, just because we love you so much. So at least they brought it back, and it's super dated, it's super retro, but that's again from my perspective part of the charm. But they added like Iago and Zazu in it, and it's just like, yeah, because they're birds, so they would be here, right? And it's like they don't fit the attraction at all, but sure, we'll just have them be in there. But yeah, sometimes it doesn't work. But yeah, it's interesting. Country Bears is gone. That used to be in Frontierland, and they were going to upgrade that attraction to match the movie. There's another one people forget. There was a whole honkin' movie based on that attraction.
They closed that down in like 2009.
They closed it down just before the movie came out, and I think the thinking was, if this movie's a big hit somehow, inexplicably, if people had actually wanted to go see it, they were going to redo the ride to reflect. It's not a ride; it's an attraction. But they were going to have the bears as they are in a movie.
Chuck E. Cheese gym.
Yeah, and the original ride is
President's
super
thing,
charming, but it's very dated. And I think the thinking was, well, let's try and modernize it.
It's like a Muppet theater.
So they made a movie, and the movie is god awful. It bombed super hard, deservingly so. It's one of those movies you're just scratching your head watching.
Family and I saw the last Country Bears thing, the 2009 Disney trip in December, and it was one of the last shows.
Yeah,
we saw it. It was bad, but yeah,
the show's charming. The movie is.
It was kind of malfunctioning already.
Well, I mean, it was super dated. If they'd wanted to. So again, if you go to Tokyo, Japan, they still have the Country Bears, and I believe they're still in Florida. But they took it out of the Disney park, and now I don't know what's there, just a gift shop or something.
Yeah, and we saw the commercial for Walt Disney's Life Story and the little.
What usually it's the Abraham Lincoln thing.
I think we saw that before.
Because that's a classic. It's been there since
Disney
forever.
thing. I think we saw the Disney thing
before. The Disney one, it might be an older show now. We might have seen it like 10 years ago, but yeah, instead of Abraham Lincoln, it's an animatronic Walt Disney at the end of it. And
Bob Iger.
Yeah.
And I made a joke saying, they said Bob Iger was going to come out, and he didn't. And I made the joke that like the host guy was just going to come in and put a gray wig and come back out. I'm Bob Iger, which would be hilarious, but he didn't do it.
This show now costs $20. Cough it up. Yeah. But yeah, so we did a lot of, it's sort of a mix of, the old school classic stuff and a lot of the new stuff. We didn't do a lot of the super, intense thrill ridey stuff or some of that. But
we went on Space Mountain.
You can spend 3 days and still not do everything. There's a ton of stuff you can do in either park.
And the Cajun food wasn't quite Cajun this time, except for the drinks.
Yeah, we went to we couldn't get into the Blue Bayou because you need a reservation. So we went to the one that's right across from it that's serving similar style food. And I saw Monte Cristo on the menu. I thought, oh great! Usually you have to go into the Blue Bayou to get that. Turns out what they mean is it's a stuffed beignet. It's a semi-savory beignet that's stuffed with ham, turkey, and Swiss.
But not very much.
And mine had almost no filling in it at all. It was just a big ball of dough, and in the very center was this micro-thin little ribbon of one little thing of ham.
That's why I was joking about like having gone to a fancy smancy dinner back in the 90s. The $200 plate, so it was one of them Grandmaster things, and while we were reading the beignets, I was like, this reminds me of that because it was like this super steak dinner, $200 plate, tiny little piece of steak, wasn't even that good, wasn't even that chewy or nothing, and peas and carrots. This isn't a $200 steak.
Freezer bag peas and carrots.
This isn't a $200 steak. I think.
Birds.
If I'm gonna get a steak for over $100, I'm gonna go somewhere like the Outback where I can actually get like a steak.
The irony is now this steak from the supermarket will cost you $100, and it won't be gourmet. It's just a steak. Yeah. But yeah,
it's hamburgers for the rest of us.
So yeah, we were a little underwhelmed with the Monte Cristo beignets. The mint juleps are delicious. Apparently, they have finally just stripped away Walt's original provision that booze was not to be served in the park. Now you can get liquored up in the park if you want.
We didn't do that.
We didn't, but you can. So it used to be the only way to get a real mint julep was to get into Club 33, which I did do way back in the day. Managed to get my foot in the door there and have dinner in Club 33. Said, I'd like a mint julep, a real one. And she said, we only serve the real ones here. It's like, oh yeah, I'm in the fancy. It was great. But now you can, if for $20, they'll just sell you one.
And then a minute and a half later, you didn't remember you was in the movie 33 anymore. And then you woke up and there was a giant furred critter going, is it as good for you as it was for me? I don't remember. No.
I had one mint julep. I didn't get the hammered. Okay, but yeah.
So you were aware of the giant furry creature.
It's Disney. There's giant furry creatures everywhere. But in any case, like I say, yeah, it was a good trip. We did a whole bunch of fun and classic and new stuff, and I would call the trip a success, even if a piece of my car almost fell off on our way.
Well, that was the very beginning.
Yeah, didn't even get past Pacheco Pass, and my baffle plate started coming loose.
Or whatever that the plate under the end.
It's called a splash guard, I guess. And yeah, the thing started flopping around like it was going to deploy right off of my car. So that wasted a little time, but
early on,
found a nice little chop shop to nail it back up. Hasn't fallen off since.
Better have it checked out though, because it probably just
next time I'm in for a service, they probably just use a staple gun. That'll be $35. I think they did an okay job, but yeah. Other than that, I'd say pretty went off without a technical hitch.
Yeah.
So
I would say the next trip we have to make sure it's not 9 years later, but rather just a few years later.
Well, it's always a production, so we'll roll with them punches. But yeah,
since this was the 70th anniversary,
it is the 70th.
We should at least shoot for the 75th, if not earlier than that.
Well, we'll see what happens. But yeah, on that note, I think I got a skedaddle.
The 75th would be around my 60th birthday. It's a little earlier.
And the beauty of it is you can be 90 and still go to Disneyland and have a blast if you want.
Anyway, 55.
Yeah.